My name is Rock, and one of my most personal favorite games of all time is Hollow Knight, so it's no surprise that the sequel Silksong is one of my most anticipated games of all time. Or it was. To be honest, it's been like 6 years since it was announced and my ADHD could not dwell on it for that long. But something that stays in my mind more than the actual game is the YouTube channel Daily Silksong News, which has given daily updates on the game's release for about 4 years. And about 2 years ago, oh damn bro, it was actually 2 years, that is sad. And about 2 years ago, I decided that I'd shoot my shot at being a guest on one of the news videos. But I was rejected by the owner of the channel, Aurora. But I wouldn't give up that easily. I worked too hard to get a no. So I decided to prove myself by beating Hollow Knight's hardest challenge. Steel Soul mode. I can't. Why was that? Yes, I'm aware there's probably an ultra red card come guzzler mod out there that's probably more impressive to complete, but this is what I settled on and what I had unlocked. Also, I've shelved this video for so long that in the most recent Nintendo Direct, they announced that this game was coming in 2025, and although I'm not convinced that the game will actually come out this year, I have a little bit of a deadline now, so I gotta work hard. Also, I forgot, like, that I didn't write this in the script, but like, good videos are supposed to go over like what the challenge means, or like what the video's about or whatever, so I'm gonna do that. Hollow Knight Steel Soul mode is basically just the regular Hollow Knight game with permadeath, so if you die in the game, you die in real life. Or something like that, or your save gets deleted. Either way, it's the same. And if you really want like a purist like run, I use mods in this video. Like I use bench warp specifically because like I don't think I had a life 2 years ago, but I must have had somewhere to be if I had that enabled. So there's also a trick where you can quit to the menu before you die and not lose your file, but I limited myself to only using this once, and during my final run I didn't use it at all, so I'm not that bad of a cheater. Still a cheater though, but like less is more, as they say. This is the first run I did, and I'm going to be going over it pretty quickly as it ends pretty fast. The beginning isn't too important, as I just completed the tutorial, which I already know how to play this game. Kind of. Since death is permanent, hoarding money, or Geo as it's called in the game, is going to be a good idea. Trying to get as much money as I can before the game gets more dangerous is the best course of action, as I don't want to be fighting super strong enemies just for some spare change to buy a lamp. And I'm sure there's a better example than the lamp to bring up, but I couldn't think of one, and I still can't, so. I did collect the Fury of the Fallen charm, however, which makes it so once I'm at 1 heart, I get a damage upgrade. Which, once I'm at 1 heart, I'm probably dead anyways, so it doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have regardless. After this, I entered Dirtmouth, the main town of the game, and spoke to the Elder Bug out of principle because I figured that at least one Hollow Knight community member will watch this, and if they saw I didn't do that, then I'd probably be like burned and crucified at a cross or something. I don't know what the punishment for that is. I equipped my charm and descended into the Forgotten Crossroads. I know this place the most out of any other location in this game, but I still wanted to buy the map from Cornifer because you can never be too safe. I had my first dangerous encounter with this orange womb bug thing, and humbled myself after triumphantly winning against it. Despite this, I got the first grub, which I'll be turning into the grub fodder for some money. I won't be going over every grub I get, but I'll talk about them if they're in like a precarious location or important in any way. I've also never used the word precarious in a sentence until now. I fought the first mini-boss, the Grubmother, and opened the stag station so I could quickly travel back to Dirtmouth. This run seems to be starting off well, right? No, as I die in possibly the most pathetic way I could have against one of the weakest mini-bosses in the game. In my defense, I was pretty rusty at this game when I had started this, but we can all agree my first run probably shouldn't have taken 25 minutes. It's a shame I lost so fast, but this is my first run, so I could redeem myself in the eyes of Aurora. Hopefully, which you guys probably see the length of the video and realize that I won't until at least another 20 minutes, but you know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So, this next shot I'm going to skip over what I discussed for the last one, as if I were to go through everything again, it'd get pretty repetitive, and I tend to follow the same steps pretty much every run. This run began pretty much identically to the last one, except I didn't die at the easiest mini-boss, playing it much safer on my rematch. I nearly died during the Grubmother fight, surprisingly putting the Fury of the Fallen charm to use. After that I decided to return to Dirtmouth to buy some materials to update my map, and returned down to the Crossroads to rematch the exact mini-boss I died to last time, and nearly embarrassed myself further, but managed to win. Maybe I was wrong when I said I wasn't going to be using the Fury of the Fallen charm, because I've been getting to 1 heart pretty often in the first chapter. Yeah, this is going to be a long video. I tried exploring as much as I could before fighting the boss of this area, so I could go to the next area as soon as I could. After another fight with the mini-boss, I began the fight with False Knight. False Knight is a very simple boss. I didn't struggle at all defeating him. Who would have guessed the mini-boss would have challenged me more than the actual challenge? After this, I entered some pink room, I don't remember what this place is called, I'm sorry, and began the trial to unlock my first spell ability, the Vengeful Spirit, which allows me to shoot a ranged projectile for the cost of some soul. This attack is really useful throughout the game, but its main use to me was to kill this enemy to open the path to the next area of the game, Greenpath. Open the path, the path, the path, to the path of the path. So far this run is going well, with me only almost dying like 2 times. Greenpath isn't too much more challenging than the Forgotten Crossroads, but there are a few elements that make it more difficult, such as all the acid water in the floor and enemies that explode and deal half my health. I unlocked the Hunter's Journal, which is pretty much useless this run, but I figured I'd talk about it anyways because it plays a cool cutscene. I freed some more grubs as I explored around the map, but almost nearly died on flying a little too close to the sun when visiting Fog Canyon, an area I won't even have to be in for a while. So I don't know why I was here. I fought another mini boss, the Moss Knights, but this time I didn't die or even struggle at all really. I ran into Zote, who I saved from this big moth thing that almost killed me. After I freed him, he didn't give me a thank you because he's a dick, but we love him all the same. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. He just looks funny. I fought some more of these Moss Knight mini bosses and made bank and opened a stack station in Dirtmouth to buy the mask shard, which is the equivalent of like a piece of heart in a Zelda game, or once we get 4 of them, we get another heart. Or a mask if you want to be like that. Or it's actually called a mask if you're one of those. It's called a mask, you know. After this, I was about ready to fight the boss of this area, Hornet. Hornet isn't the most difficult boss in this game, but I was too scared to raw dog it and decided to visit the Pantheon of Gods to try and fight her on my main save file. Just remember the attack patterns and such, which, you know, better safe than sorry or whatever, but since I was quite literally on the opposite side of the map from where the access point of the Pantheon is, I had to walk all the way from the top to the bottom of the map for a boss that, let me remind you, is the second boss of the game. She isn't even hard. I also didn't even know where I was going, so I ended up looking like a complete idiot and ended up fighting a completely random mini-boss in the process. But I made it in the end, so it wasn't a huge deal. Bear in mind, this was a 15-minute affair just for me to beat Hornet in like 2 minutes. I guess I got the practice I wanted, but I don't look any less stupid. After this, I beat her on the actual Steel Soul save with minimal struggle, so yes, it was very unnecessary. Good news, however, I collected the Mothwing Cloak, which allows me to dash, and basically makes the game like 4 times funner on its own. After completing the dash tutorial, I spoke to another fan favorite character, Quarrel, who I also made sure not to ignore, for reasons. I don't want this to be the reason I get rejected again. Anyways, I cleared up the rest of Greenpath and descended back into the Fog Canyon so I could begin the next location of this game, the Fungal Wastes. I said that a little bit more cinematic than last time because I noticed in Greenpath I was just like, in the next path, Greenpath, and I was like very unmotivated. I actually love recording this. I love doing audio for 30 minutes. It's actually my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I actually love doing audio processing. It's actually super fun.
You lying, bro. I'm not lying, bro. I'm lying.
I bought the map from Cornifer and began to explore, just like how I have for the last places. This place is pretty dangerous, as there are more enemies that are bigger and do more damage. I found the character, Leg Eater, who provides you with fragile charms, which are very powerful upgrades to your health and damage, but break upon death and need to be repaired for a separate fee. But if you remember, if I die, something else a little bit more important happens, which basically makes these charms permanent upgrades. Only issue is that they aren't free, so I need to get some more money to be able to get them. I continued exploring and making money on the way. My main goal in this area was to unlock the Mantis Claw, which allows me to jump off of walls, but in order to get this, I need to raid Mantis Village. Mantis Village has an optional boss there, making it so you don't actually have to beat the boss to get this item, but what fun is that? We should at least try the boss, right? I got the Dash Master charm, which makes traversing around the world easier, and finally saved up for the Fragile Heart charm, which gives me 2 extra hearts. After this, I was ready to enter Mantis Village, which in of itself isn't too difficult, and I got the Mantis Claw. After this, I was pretty confident and decided to take on the boss, the Mantis Lords. The Mantis Lords are much more difficult than Hornet, which brings into question why I didn't use a Pantheon for these guys and only used it for Hornet, which I have no idea, but I made a few more preparations before attempting them. I was able to defeat them, but it was a lot more difficult than anything I faced prior. Killing the Mantis Lords allows access to Deepness through the natural route. There are other ways, but those are more riskier. But Deepness isn't where I'm going to be going next. Before we go to the next real area, we enter the Mantis Lord's treasure room and get the Mark of Pride charm, which gives my melee attack more range. After this, I went and saved the NPC Bretta with not too much difficulty because all the Mantis respect me now and don't want to kill me. I went back into Dirtmouth to break into Bretta's house to steal a mask shard from her. I went to fight the mini-boss back in the Forgotten Crossroads, the Brooding Maulik. Maulik. What does that word mean? Hold on, I'm actually curious. I spelled it wrong. Okay. Okay, it's just Hollow Knight results. Okay, I don't know. I've always struggled with this mini-boss so much for some reason. I don't know why this guy in particular has always caused me so much pain, but he has in like every run I've ever done. Am I alone on this? Anyways, after defeating him, he gave me another mask shard, and after completing a platforming puzzle, I got another permanent heart. I returned back to Greenpath to finish the remaining locations I needed to explore. I got my first vessel fragment with minimal struggle. I keep saying with minimal struggle. Why is that something I wrote in like 20 times? It's an Amber Alert on my phone, bro. And nothing's going right for me today, bro. Vessel fragments allow you to upgrade the amount of soul you can carry at one time. I also had possibly the most stressful moment of the run so far, which luckily I had commentary on for, so enjoy this 2-year-old commentary I do with my friends. Like, stuff like that.
Oh, so you're
it's just gonna be like...
document it.
Yeah. You could...
Okay.
It's been 2 minutes since I last played. Okay, guys, give me a break.
It's okay, we're all rooting for you here.
I thought that was game.
Are we gonna see run and end right now?
I tuned in right on time.
Wait, I can just go over here. What am I doing? Ah! Okay. Hold on.
World's first mentally ill man.
Okay, I actually... I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in.
This is sad.
I can't concentrate. Jesus Christ.
Let him focus.
Dude, I gotta hold my burp real quick, I'm sorry.
Audio simple.
Shut up, Fireborn.
Okay, I think unless I fall into it again, I should be good. Oh my god, I can't believe I almost lost my... It's the second I... Oh my god, I threw it again!
Why is there so much water?
Oh no!
Just don't get sniped.
Leave me alone, die! Okay. Oh! He's throwing for views, Where am I? Okay, the bench is like over there. Never, because I just found the bench, bro! Heck yeah!
Bro, I was clenched.
That was...
I didn't even know a fart could escape me right then. That was
Should I change my... No, these are fine. That's contender for scariest moment of my life. After that traumatic experience, I decided to go to the next main section of the game, the City of Tears. The main reason to beat False Knight at the beginning of the game, because apparently it actually is optional, which I don't think I knew when I started, is to get the City Crest, which allows access to the City of Tears. The City of Tears isn't too important, as it only allows access to the ability to sell some items for money and nail upgrades. The main location in the City of Tears, the Soul Sanctum, has another boss that I've struggled with in the past. I also used the Pantheon here, somewhat more justified this time than last time. And as a bonus, I didn't have to walk 15 minutes to get to it, so it was already there, so that's cool. The Soul Master is a very simple boss, but I beat it only taking like one hit, which is basically no hit in my opinion. Like, no matter who you ask, I basically didn't even take any damage. Like, I did so well. Anyways, I unlocked the Desolate Dive, which is one of the coolest and most useful abilities in the game, allowing access to new pathways and invincibility frames for when I'm about to die. Which again, if I'm about to die, I'm probably gonna die anyways, but you get the point. I know the City of Tears section was short, but this place is pretty uneventful, and I come back here later anyways. The next area was the Crystal Peaks, which I now have access to because of my dive. The Crystal Peak doesn't have a boss that gives you a direct upgrade, but I want to unlock the Shade Soul, the upgraded version of the Vengeful Spirit. The platforming in this chapter is pretty difficult, but you know, I managed. The Crystal Guardian is the closest thing to a required boss in this chapter, and I beat him with minimal struggle. Minimal struggle! I said it again! I said minimal struggle! As I continued, I entered the section with these weird hammer things, or whatever I don't know what they are, and I was really reckless in trying to dash through them, so I unfortunately died here. This run was really long, and it sucked that I died when I was nearing halfway completion, but I learned a lot.
Like crap?
Being safer and not running headfirst into a bug compressor will be the main takeaways of this run. Spoiler for this run, I don't get as far as I did on my second, but I'm not going to recap everything I did in the previous run again, as that would be the most boring video to watch, and for me to voice. This run followed the same beats of the previous one almost identically, except I made sure to save some more money so I could have access to Leg Eater's Fragile Charms much quicker. This run I was able to get past the Forgotten Crossroads and Greenpath much faster, and ended up in the Fungal Waste in only an hour. Despite this, during my fight with the Mantis Lords, instead of defeating them with minimal trouble like last time, I ended up dying in their second phase. These runs that get far enough for me to feel like I wasted my time are the most infuriating, because while losing a run 2 hours in is just like baby rage, losing a run 5 hours in is just pure agony. Every stage of grief goes through my head when this happens. I'm saying this despite there being no audio proving I even had any reaction, or any memory of me crying like a baby, but it made me sound smart and that's what matters. To be a guest on such an esteemed show like Daily Silksong News, I need to expand my vocabulary. That's the worst line I could have messed that up. This run I had my music recorded for some reason, and some of the songs I was listening to back in this recording I haven't listened to in so long. Some for good reason, but I'll keep that to myself. I know I said I was using bench warp at the beginning, but this is the first run I actually used it for, as I didn't bother installing it until after the pain of losing runs 2 and 3. This run, again, was very similar to the last one, but I was able to get my speed running down, I guess, and finish most of the steps leading up to where I died quicker. I beat False Knight and Hornet quickly with little trouble like last time, but pushed it out on the Mantis Lords and decided to go straight for the Mass Shards to get more health. Eventually I ended up making it to the City of Tears again, but I didn't even get to fight the Soul Master before dying to some of the guards. This death I distinctively remember getting very pissed at. Obviously isn't showing here, but when I play games I'm very much a rager. I didn't like throw my controller and start aping out on my desktop, but I definitely screamed, as I tend to find myself doing. I would say we learned something, but the only thing I learned from this run is that I have anger issues, so.
Your hands don't look like this while you're eating your lunch. Must be a liberal sissy. Must be a sissy boy.
I've joked around for too long. Now it's time to settle the score for good. This period was the run period. I wrote that in the script. Can you tell I wrote the script at 4 in the morning? Wow. 5th time's the charm, as they say. I even put a life split timer at the bottom left because I was confident that this was going to be the run. I made sure to grab the charms and money in the beginning, talk to Elderbug, buy the map, kill the False Knight, get the Vengeful Spirit, and you're not going to believe what happened. I died to the mini-boss again! I swear to that I'm not throwing for content. I genuinely just suck at this game. This mini-boss has literally caused me more trouble than any actual boss in this game. And he's not even designed to be hard. He's designed to teach you how to jump and to move. That's it. That's his entire purpose. I would say I hate this game, but I think it's more reasonable for me to say I hate myself instead, because this is just sad. I think it's harder to die against this thing than to beat it for most players, but not this one. I genuinely, if you're watching this video, I want you to go to the comments and type if you ever even remotely struggle with this boss when you play this game. Because I am confident it is only me. I doubt anybody else in the history of this game's player base has ever died to this boss. Not even it's a mini-boss. It isn't even a boss. This part of the script is an original paragraph. It's never been written before because no one's ever played so bad that they died against this enemy. There's only so much more of this I can take. The next run can't be this bad.
But these are 2-player games, so I really don't have much of a choice. Alright, come on out. Alright.
Anyways, after the last run the motivation wasn't too high, but I'm very resilient, so I can make a comeback. I made sure to be extra careful with everything I did this time around. I made sure to grab all the money and grubs I could, and managed to kill the False Knight without any trouble again. I avoided my mortal enemy this time around and entered Greenpath. I went through the usual steps and beat Hornet and unlocked the dash again. I fought the massive moss charger, which I bet you'd expect me to lose to given my previous encounters with easy mini-bosses, but I beat it. Next, I entered the Fungal Waste to get my Fragile Charms and Mantis Claw. I once again decided to skip the Mantis Lords for now, but I'll come back to them later. I collected some more Mass Shards to get my health up, and got it up to 6 hearts. I entered the City of Tears for the 3rd time, and did the same steps of upgrading my nail and killing the Soul Master to get the Desolate Dive. I tried my best to unlock everything I could in City of Tears before I returned back here, hoping I actually get to return unlike last time. I bought the Lantern so I could get a Mask Shard in the Stone Sanctuary, which I hadn't visited up to this point. After getting another mask, I decided to go to the Crystal Peak and hopefully not die like last time. I forgot to go over this previously, but the Shade Soul isn't the only reason why I'm in Crystal Peak. I also need the Crystal Dash, which would allow me to unlock it. I almost died to the hammers again, but I was smart enough to just walk away when the going got rough. This place is actually super dangerous, and I almost lost the run when fighting to get a grub. After like half an hour of walking around aimlessly, I finally got the Crystal Dash and was able to get the Shade Soul. From this point onwards, we're in undiscovered territory. Well, I guess that's not entirely true, as I went back to fight the Mantis Lord so I can get a safer entrance to Deepness, which unfortunately was coming up sooner than I wanted. This is my 3rd time fighting Mantis Lords, and I guess I was trying to kill myself and lose the run because I had an awful start, but I came around in the end and beat them. I went to the treasure room to get some charms and money, and then it was on to the Royal Waterways. This is the first time you guys have heard like a new location name in like 10 minutes. Like, you've just been watching the same video for 5 minutes if you think about it. Like, never mind. Actually, keep watching this one. Keep watching the video. I don't know why. The Royal Waterways are one of the scariest sections in the game, as there are a lot of cramped spaces with enemies that regenerate body parts. There are a few things you need to do down here, one of which includes killing the Dung Defender. He's not too difficult, but I did take a lot of damage fighting him, so I guess you could say I'm pretty sure. After killing him, I turned on the power, or whatever this is. I don't know what this is. I was lost around the Royal Waterways, which you can come to expect when coming here, Deepness, but I found the entrance to the Ancient Basin, which was the next step of the game. The Ancient Basin allows me to unlock the Monarch Wings, which make me double jump, and are one of my favorite upgrades in the game. Sir Arif, one of my good friends, told me to risk fighting a couple of these brooding Malik minis to get a payload for a nail upgrade, which almost led to me dying, but thankfully I managed to survive. Next up was the fight with the broken vessel, but I wanted to make some preparations before I fought them. I opened the location where you sell the rancid eggs to get some money to buy another nail upgrade with the pale ore I just got. Now I have a lot of damage, especially with the fragile strength charm equipped. I got a little off track and started wandering around and discovered the King's Station in the City of Tears. See? Told you I'd come back. And I made some money by killing some rich family and then went to Ancient Basin. I'm not done coming back here, however. I just keep coming. That's not even funny. Anyway, it was time to fight the broken vessel for real this time. The broken vessel is so easy and I killed him in record time. I unlocked the double jump and I'm only missing one major upgrade before I have them all. I don't know how to segue into this clip because it isn't really related to the challenge, but I just wanted to show this clip with me and my friend that happened that I just think is really funny. Now can you help me my helper on this game?
Plasma rifle's pretty good to like just get rid of their shields.
You completely ignored me.
Oh, what the heck? Where'd you go?
He did it again! Mal, can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Why'd you ignore me 2 times in a row?
He's not speaking.
Ignore me. I'm talking to you.
Ooh.
I just got ignored again!
You're not saying anything.
I am! I asked you, can you... I'm talking about myself!
Oh, no, yeah, I can hear you.
Then why are you ignoring me? He did it again! After that, I went and got Isma's Tear, which allows me to swim in acid, which I need for one of the Dreamers. Now it's time for something that needs a little bit more explanation, because I didn't explain it earlier. In order to beat the game, I need to awaken 3 Dreamers, which allows me to access the final boss. The 3 Dreamers are in the City of Tears, Fog Canyon, and Deepness. To awaken these Dreamers, however, I need the Dream Nail, which I haven't gotten yet. It's a little out of the way in a new area called the Resting Grounds, but eventually I got there. I decided to go for a Dreamer immediately and chose the easiest one, Monomon. After settling on her to do first, I ended up in the teacher's archives. The main obstacle preventing me from waking up Monomon is fighting this jellyfish called Umu. I don't know. I wrote the script UMMU, but I don't remember if that's what it's called or not. I think it's called like Umu. What am I even saying? I need help from Coral to defeat him, but he's really easy as well. After killing him, I went to awaken Monomon and got my first Dreamer, which means I only need 2 more and then the final boss. Next up, I decided to do Hera in Deepness, which means I finally get to use the entrance I unlocked by killing the Mantis Lords. Deepness is very dangerous, with tight corridors and enemies that come out the floor. Being here sucks, but thankfully there's no boss here, just the Dreamer. Eventually ended up in the distant village, which is where the entrance to where Hera is at. Do I hate myself? Why did I write it like that? After getting jumped by a bunch of bug people, I got tied up in a web. Now I'm in the labyrinth where you find her, but I found her quickly and was able to escape. Now I only need 1 more and then I'm done, but sadly the last one remaining, Lurien, is the hardest. I returned back to the City of Tears, again, to fight the Watcher's Knights, which are debatably the hardest fight that I'm going to do in this run. To be honest, I was really worried that I would die during this fight, so I over-prepped a little bit by getting another Charm Notch and even some of the map pins. I have no idea why I did that now, considering the next 2 places I have to go are literally marked on my map, but it's fine.
Did you just buy a bench pin?
I also entered the Queen's Gardens to get another spell, the Howling Raves, which allow me to blow my load in an upwards direction. And I would show you what it does, but I don't think I used this once this entire run, so whoop-de-doo. After these preparations, I was finally ready to fight the Watcher Knights, and here's a pro fact that you might not know. If you hit the chandelier here, then you could kill one of them before the fight starts, and I did that. Isn't that cool? I bet you everybody watching this already knew that.
Yeah, get the chandelier,
Do it again.
You just have to hit up. Yeah, there it is.
How'd you ever find this?
Literally never.
If you're tweaking before the boss. How did you miss 4 times?
I'm scared, guys. I'm scared.
Give him credit. He only missed twice. Give him some credit.
The reason the Watcher Knights are so difficult is because there are a lot of them that you have to fight at once, and they're always bouncing around and moving. But they were super easy, probably due to the over-preparation. Or at least that's what I think it was. Maybe I'm just a Hollow Knight prodigy. I don't know. Maybe Aurora, you heard that? Hollow Knight prodigy talking right now. You should let me on. After killing the Knights, I awoke Lurien and then returned back to the Forgotten Crossroads to enter the Black Egg Temple to fight the Hollow Knight and end this challenge. The Hollow Knight It's actually really easy. I would admit that a few of the bosses I fought so far are harder than him considering what point I was at during those fights, but I still decided to go back to the Pantheon to practice a little bit. But while I was there, I was delighted with the information that you can't fight him in the Pantheon, so if I wanted to fight him, I would have to walk all the way back to the Black Egg Temple on my actual save. And decided that was a waste of my time and just raw dogged it on my Steel Soul 1. The Hollow Knight isn't that hard, but that doesn't mean he's brain dead. I still have to pay attention to his attacks. He's fast, but not impossible to dodge. There's a lot of attacks that consistently get me, but when he spends half the fight killing himself, it really isn't that hard. And after a few finishing blows, I was finally able to seal the Hollow Knight and complete this challenge. And oh my god, my reaction was so explosive. Just listen to this clip. I've been muted the whole time. I did not realize that. I've been muted on OBS.
This video sucks.
I didn't pop off at all when I beat the boss, so you didn't miss anything. I don't even think I said anything funny. After 6 attempts of varying levels of success, I finally completed this challenge and hopefully am now eligible to guest host on the Daily Silksong News YouTube channel. Did you forget that was the point of this video? Because I think I did when writing most of it. I hope Aurora is proud of me and lets me bless this channel with my presence because of this impossible challenge I put myself through. Because if he didn't, then... let's not think about that actually. Let's just be positive. If you enjoyed this video, then there's some cartoons and other stuff to watch on my channel. But if you want to watch more gaming videos from me, check out my other channel, Rocks the Rock of America. In fact, we already have a Hollow Knight video over there, so just go to the description or search it up yourself and watch it. You see, it's pretty funny, it's pretty cool, it's pretty good. Thanks so much for watching the video to the end, and maybe if it does well, I'll make more videos like it in the future. I don't know, we'll have to see. So if you enjoyed the video, smash that subscribe button, that like button, and comment your thoughts. Comment what you thought of the video. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.